Okay, everyone, we're gonna do a mattress review for Zakarr. He says he's a Potomass one-trick pony for a while, and he always income king till wave 10, and then try and win the game. Now he swapped to playing redraw, sometimes ink, sometimes leak. When it doesn't work, he's doomed. His positioning's at an okay. If someone wants to take a look at his match history and check some of his flaws, that would be awesome. Okay. Wait, what elo is this guy? Okay. 2.3 peak, 2100 right now. Okay. All right. Let's just go back to. It's really not much to see in a Potomass game. I mean, I guess we can look at it anyways to see, just to see what the Potomass gameplay looks like. Okay, so we have Pota, King up, 6 workers, and what are we doing? We're going camp. I mean, yeah, like I know you're saying you're just going income king every wave, but yeah, probably shouldn't king up gate guard. I mean, yes, he's champion, but basically like turbo free 6 workers if you knew how to position, etc. And you'd be able to just push a lot harder than if you just like skip one wave, try and threaten something. But not a big deal. Positioning wise, we don't do upper split before wave 5. Like, um, don't need it to hold, and it's just an annoyance on wave 5. So the other thing is for the mask that you're supposed to put. So like this mask on the right here should be just 1 square down from where it is, so you have lower split. And then this small mask should be on the right, and like to drag the split somewhere lower on the right side. And then the false maiden, I mean, it's a personal preference, but you can do like half square up, so it's like block builds, or you can just do it where you have this mass spirit. But should be something like that, but not a big deal since you held anyways. Okay. Yeah, you definitely don't need to build here. Well, you don't need to build the flower here, I should say. I mean, your role selection is kind of awkward. Like, you don't really want flower as a natural unit. You don't. Yeah, it's just not like a good role. But definitely you should at least push 1 worker and like just build a washroom or something. I mean, you got a full 80 send from a guy who probably can't send you that much here. And you'd rather just be 8 workers, take a small leak, even if you were to leak on 5, which is, maybe it would happen if you build washroom or like pack rat, whatever, but it's fine. Here you just randomly push 2 workers to no send. Can't be doing that. Like that's just it's like a pretty simple rule in Legion. It's like if you didn't get a send, like don't push on me. I can see you're thinking that you're above value here, but um, yeah. I mean, I could see you pushing 1 worker because if you could guarantee that you get Hellraiser plus the right split, then I would say that's completely fine. But yeah, like Potomass, you almost always want Hellraiser on 6 unless you have some really good answer for 7. Um, but yeah, you kind of get on there. It's fine. And now you're like you just overbuilt again to get the Hellraiser, which is like understandable. You're not that good on 7, so it's not that bad. Um, and then whoa, where did your board go? Wait, am I missing something? You just didn't build anything? You sold in fact, and you didn't push. I Okay. I mean, I would say that is extremely ill-advised, but maybe you just try to sell and then didn't realize you didn't have enough gold or something. But here, yeah, you would definitely try and shift for Azeria on 9, just because the Hellraiser is so broken. You're looking really good on 8, so you could take the risk on 8 when your Hellraiser's tantrumed. But yeah, this shift doesn't really make sense because you're shifting to leak on 10 anyways. It's not like a secret, like having these units would somehow like hiding one of them would help you hold 10 and not hold 9. So yeah, bit of a mistake there. And then here, obviously, you shouldn't build on 11 with these units. In terms of bunk positioning, I would probably go bunk in the split, given the way your units are positioned right now. Yeah, I like bunk in the split a lot more. Whoa. Yeah, second Azuri on 13 with these units, not advisable because this is what's going to happen to you on 14. So much better play here is to go for more Hellraisers or just go like 1 Hellraiser, 1 Wild or 1 Canify or something. Um, you'll just hold. You should probably be able to hold this, and you shouldn't build Death Cap on 12. I mean, look at your units; they're way too good on 12. You just got King Ups on 11, so mostly just like not a lot of future thinking. Shaman on 14 is really bad. I would never send it. Obviously, it's a little unlucky. He has a deep core there. But even something just like Pack Centaur or something like that would be a lot stronger versus what you see. Even just like Pack Molt Brutes is probably better, to be honest. Yeah, Shaman's just not a lot of value when it's buffing weaker waves and not being able to focus your buff onto good units, is what I'd say. Then in terms of actually closing the game, it's a 17 race. Yeah, I mean, you guys just over push if you want. So if 17 is the plan, like probably want to rebuild a bit more. And you never prep tantrums, which is like a big mistake. Like you should, I'd say looking at your both your builds, you really want to force 16 this game. So probably you want to push really hard here and then play for 16. These units, like they're not bad on 16, but like golems and I mean this build again is also like not bad on 16, but looking at your builds, like you're not that bad on 17, but you don't prep tantrums, and your teammate is horrible on 17, so it's not really surprising. You kind of also just build your bunks in a line, which isn't that good. Like you probably want to have bunks in the split, and like at the very least, at least just like build them half off from each other, so that you try and get some split taking there. But yeah, not too crazy. I mean, obviously, still a lot you can learn with Photomask for sure. All right, let's look at the redraw game. Redraw is a pretty hard mastermind to play, to be fair. Yeah, like for example, looking at your role here, I would never ever start Zakarr here. Like one, you don't have a great add on 3 with Zakarr, and then 2, you also just have an insane opener with. I mean, you can either play like Tempest and Fish for something. You could, but like Flower Aqua is just a pretty strong opener. And you can the fact that you're redraw, and the fact that you have Zakarr makes this even more appealing because like a common path would just be like Flower Aqua, go to 6 or 7 workers, Fire Aqua on 4, and then I don't know, like if you with the plan of like Zerker as your 6th answer is like a pretty solid game plan. You're just super high income, and then if you have a good early game with redraw, it's pretty much like guaranteed that you're in a really good spot because you have the best late game mastermind, because you're able to choose your units for it. So it's better to play higher worker openers in general, anyways. So when you have the option, you should, because like yeah, this is what you end up building on 5 and or on 3, and it's like you would never leak here, and you would be able to push way harder. I mean, you like look at your reroll. You hit a seedling. So if you're like flower seedling with aqua, like your game is just completely insane. And the main downside of flower aqua is that you don't have a 10 answer in your redraw, so you like one, you already guaranteed it because you have the Zerker sitting in your roll, but like it's very likely you'll reroll into something that's good on 10, like the gun, for example. So yeah, again, probably way too fast if you're, even though you leaked. Also, this Robo doesn't make any sense. Like, he's Green Devil, he shows you he's plus 20, right? So like, what's the point of the power merc, right? You're just denying yourself gold. And like, I mean, it's a game knowledge thing, but like Green Devil card never ever leaks 3 unless it's like a brute, right? So just go income here or go 4. Yeah, and then yeah, here you don't need to build so much. Like Zerker is turbo broken. You just show them you have a buzz as well. Like way more likely you're getting a 5 cent. So, like you probably could be holding 5 without 2 harpies or a harpy and a seedling on your board, right? So that's just one more worker you could have. So, but anyways, you do end up holding. And here, like building a pixie doesn't make any sense. You already suck on 7, so like there's no point in making yourself worse on 7. Like would much rather have that gold invested in a wild shroom. But whatever, you get the send, you push, it's good. And then you leak here. I mean, I would assume your Azir tanks nothing because the Aqua is shorter range, walks in front. So I mean, that's a positioning thing. Like if you want to build Azir here, then you do know how to position it. But I wouldn't even bother with Azir really in this role. I feel like your role looks fine. You kind of want more melee units, or like you want to get a ranged DPS unit. So I could see the idea behind building Azir, but I feel like in my head gun makes more sense here. But it's not the worst. I only say gun because your 12 looks really bad right now, like without true pierce damage. Like Harpy's okay, but like yeah, I don't rate it nearly as highly as like a Vulcan. But anyways, yeah, this is probably like extremely holdable. Especially this Howler makes no sense to put here, right? You have nothing in your split right now, and with Priestess, one, okay, well, you don't have the position probably, so it doesn't matter as much, but if you have it placed properly, you need to adjust the split on the right as well, so that's probably what you want to spend your gold there doing. So you go 7, you skip one wave, you go 9. I mean, that's a pretty good wave to send on. Pack Leader Brute, that's a fine send. Not really much to say there. Income King afterwards, it's totally fine. Aziria, sure. Again, positioning, like we can talk about, you can like watch good players to see how they position Aziria, but yeah, it's not looking quite like this. So we get the Butcher. I mean, just sell the Peewee at this point. Like why not greed the aura a bit more? Um, oh, I see. But unless you're fishing for antler on everything as well, yeah, I mean it's a little greedy, but okay, sure. I mean, in general, like you don't want to greed over greed, and additionally, I would say you're a lot like redrawing towards the right goal. Like if you look at what waves you suck on, like 14 is the problem. Like the biggest problem is you don't have true pierce damage on your board. You're really good on single target waves, and then you have no like real pierce DPS unit in your build, and building gate is just not a good way to accomplish that because you also don't have tanks. So it's not really like a good game plan, even if it's like super good aura value or whatever. 13 send. I mean it's fine to send here. I just mean like the send again, shaman early, not that good. Like 13, like okay, you could theoretically justify it, but like one, you know he has coilers, so why bother with it? You would rather send, I don't know, probably just like some. I mean his board sucks, so you could probably leak him with whatever. I don't actually know what's true best to send here, but probably not shaman. Probably just some melee damage. Yeah. Not much to say there. And then yeah, like it's not that surprising to me that you guys would league 14. I mean, looking at your units, you just legit don't have any good units on 14 besides. No, you just like you have two Sky Queens for damage, and then your tank value, like the amount of arcane you have in your board is extremely low. Your Zero doesn't tank. Yeah, it's just it's like fairly clear, but like imagine like you turned a bunch of this value into like okay, like let's say you reroll into good units, like this could be a Haven in your split, a Wild Shroom, or like it could be a Canify or another skeleton, or it could have been like if you had rerolled on 13, you could have prepped Mass for 14 and then also easily held. So just again, like not really understanding where your build is weak, and then I mean you guys just got one shot. Like it would always income king here, right? Because like you would never get sent on 15, and then you could probably win a 16 race. So yeah, I mean, it seems like the main theme is just like you really don't know what's happening in the macro sense of the game. But it's not it's not like the worst. I would say like it's definitely stuff to improve on. Oh wait, this is the block, and I mean we can look at another Potomax game, sure. Um, okay, I mean it's gonna be like mostly the same stuff. Like I would think that this buckler on the wall is too close. This buckler is correct, but again, this mass doesn't make sense, right? You just keep lower split until the wave. And then, yeah, like building double buckler, not ideal. Like you'd rather just go wild from here and prep 7 if you're not aren't going to be able to get Hellraiser there. And then like, um, not pushing here doesn't make any sense, right? You have a tantrum, like there's no way you should be plus 35. Tantrum is insane value, plus you just got full sent, so I mean, like, I'm not gonna go super deep into that game just because it's Photo Mask again, but actually more curious about like just a random greed game. Well, first thing, like you're, whoa, okay, you definitely can't start Mudvan with if you have a gun in your role. It's a much better opener. Mudvan is you almost always want to start with a unit that does damage, and Mudvan does not do damage because now you're 4 workers, right? And that's just not very good. Um, your 4 workers, your build is quite bad, I would say. Like your best DPS unit, right? Your Green Devil for early game is like he's not behind the Mudman, who's only does tank value. So the Mudman should be on the like third column, and the Green Devil should be on like the wall or like the second column. But also just like you're having expensive unit, and their split early game is not good, right? They're not hitting the same target. So you have no like way of you're not focus firing anything basically. And it's important to have a split, obviously, but you don't want your damage to also be split, right? For the same principle. Yeah, so like definitely just play gun here though. You can look at your sends, I guess. I mean, I would just say this like, there's no point in going for a full send here unless you one think like there's no reason for him to go 6 workers unless he's playing for fun. And if you can't send 60, then you're not really representing a threat, so there's no point in going for a robo. And you can tell if you're gonna get 60. Well, one, you're 4 workers, so you would almost never ever get 60 on 3. But if you have 5 workers and you have 6 Mythium, um, or rather if you have like 40, 46-ish, 46, 47 Mythium, you'll probably get the 20 after income. But like here, you're not going to get it. Going income is fine. Uh, like income is fine. Like technically, he's actually not looking very strong here. I would imagine on 5, if you went Robo Snail, you might actually leak him here. But it's like I mean, like whatever. Going income is fine. In terms of your build, I mean, yeah, like your unit's stuck on 4 now. It's not really surprising that you would leak very hard here. To like, or you would leak at all to a DT. Like one, also your green double's hitting the DT just because it's on the right, so it's also not good. So you get the Sea Dragon, you get the Warp Wing, but like you can see how like you're kind of forced to play over a bit like built. And yes, gun has a weak wave on 6, but like you would be able to play a lot riskier value wise on other waves. So yeah, basically you just never build a DPS unit. Like these aren't really DPS units. Yeah, not much more to say there in terms of building. I would also think that your gun is not getting that much value, but it's like not the worst. And in terms of sending, I mean, no point to keep income king. You don't really need the gold for anything. If you really want to win games like this, just start saving. And like for example, like after 11 income king, like you could okay, honestly, on after this 10 income king, you could already see that they both have really bad builds on 12 and just like call the skip one wave and send 12. But even if you don't want that, like after this income 11, you need a save. Like they're not looking good on 14 at all. So that would be a pretty easy call there. And like what this kind of gameplay is like, it's fine, right, at low elo, but like if you want to win your games and you can actually like convince your teammate to play with you, then just tell them to save. And like the whole point of the mid game is to save Mythium as long as you can, in order to, you know, get to their weak wave ideally, and leak them. So if you don't need to send, then don't send. Like if you don't need the money to build the unit to hold the wave, if you don't like to hold their send, then there's no point, right? Like your philosophy should be to try and win the game by killing their king. And like, yeah, I mean, you legit don't give away this game and then you lose on 21, which is not that surprising. They just save Mythium and then they one-shot you, right? So like, you could just win by saving yourself earlier. I mean, I'm not gonna go too much more into that, but like the main things is like you can build better, you can play better openers, you can push harder, you can send better. I mean, it's everything, right? But definitely a lot of good stuff, especially for someone new, so new to the game.